Welcome to episode 1 of Path of the Ninth podcast, Mind and Body.
Mm.
We decided to title this episode, and it's going to be along the lines of the very, very simple premise of exercise and what exercise to do, why to do it, how important it is. And I think this is a message I sent to you earlier, James, is that it is the perfect metaphor or hyperbole
Yeah,
for life.
definitely.
It's the perfect kind of frame of describing
It's
certain
the
elements of
foundation, right?
philosophy. Yeah. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a perfect foundation to cultivating so many elements of a good mindset and developing good habits in your life that's going to just improve everything around you,
hmm
literally. Um, so everyone I'm sure listening to this, if they're not already, understands why you should train.
hmm
Well, not necessarily even train, but just get active in life.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're someone who doesn't go outside on a daily basis, or if you don't elevate your heart rate in something, it could be you could start off literally just going for a walk for like half an hour. Obviously, that's not what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to do far more. But if you're just getting started,
hmm
it could be something as simple as just going for a walk.
Something is better than nothing.
Absolutely, in all things.
hmm
But so to start with, like why train? Why get active? Why do anything? Well, yeah, to even I'm sure everyone who does exercise and who doesn't exercise knows, but to go through the motions and just like illuminate the very, very obvious things, you have more energy in life, right? This is something I really realized when I started doing cardio after like 2 years of weight training. I was like, I would wake up in the morning and get out of bed and like I would just have tons of energy to go and do stuff, right? I wouldn't get out of breath walking up the
But I
stairs.
thought cardio was a
Like
myth.
cardio is a myth, bro. It's just training carbs, but like, but like, yeah. And the first time I actually noticed that, bro, you remember when we went to college?
Yeah, yeah.
We do you remember the old I block
Yes.
above the library
Yeah, yeah.
where all the computer labs were? There was like a small flight of stairs, and
Hmm.
when we started training, we were like teenagers.
Yes.
I think first year of college, and so for the listeners, we there was a block in our old college um, where you had to go up like a set of like a bunch of stairs just to get up to the computer rooms. And I remember like you and I were always late going into lectures in college, so we were just fucking running through the halls. And I remember when I started weightlifting, I remember like running up the stairs and just like my legs weren't tired
hmm
because unlike most people, I didn't skip leg day from day one.
Oh, that's a
but
spicy take.
but it's kind of like you'll just notice stuff like that. You'll have energy and you won't get tired for doing not like in your day-to-day life because your baseline fitness increases.
hmm
Everything seems easier.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like you're not slugging through the day like a sloth. You just have energy. Your body's just in it's much more used to movement and it's obviously increases your fitness.
If you think about fitness in terms of like return on investment for the
Yeah.
time you actually have to spend doing it, like
hmm
because I was talking to about fitness with someone recently, and they were under the impression that when I was talking about this, they were under the impression that I was suggesting that everyone be like a bodybuilder, like the
Yeah.
average person should look like a bodybuilder or like something like that. And that's not what I was getting at. But
Yeah.
even like with cardio and everything, the return on investment is so high. Like think of the
Yeah.
list of benefits that fitness,
Yeah.
like just general like cardiovascular fitness gives you.
Yeah. Going for a
And
run twice a week.
yeah, like and even weight training, which is a lot more time intensive, you
Yeah.
can get away with like 3 hour long sessions a week. Like
Even
what's
less, I would argue,
yeah,
if you train like efficiently.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
what's 3 hours a week for that endless list of benefits that you can get? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, really, yeah, really, 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 and that we're gonna get into so much of what you just said there in a bit. Like there are a lot of benefits,
hmm
particularly to weightlifting, which you and I is a massive part of you and I, your life and
Yeah,
my
our
life.
journeys. Yeah.
yeah.
But
But so you have like, yeah, go ahead, man.
no, it's just what you were talking about earlier, like the foundation. I think
Yeah.
the reason we're doing this one first, and how at the
Mhm.
end we're going to link it to the mind, is like having a healthy body,
Mhm.
and like that is linked with having a healthy mind, right? Because they
Yeah.
are the same. Your body is linked to your mind. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of modern media portrays, you've got like the dumb meathead, and then you've
Yeah.
got the nerd who's really skinny and really smart. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no reason why they can't like overlink and why they can't push each other,
Yeah.
because like sacrificing one for the other is not smart. And
Yeah.
like
It's not
even
necessary.
no, and like the ancient Greeks talked about how you cannot have a healthy body, a healthy mind without a healthy body, because your
Mhm.
body is the vessel,
Yeah.
so it should be worked on.
Yeah. 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 And that's something you'll realize as you go along. If you do choose to start, which I encourage you to do, listener, that is something you'll notice. It's just that you just you've developed so much of a good mentality from
Mhm.
going through the motions and seeing progression, and we're gonna get into all of that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's like, and this is something I've been dealing with as well. When you talk about people who have like good bodies, to use the superficial example,
Mhm.
when you see when you see someone who's in good shape, what you have to understand is that they're not in good shape because their body's in good shape. They're in good shape because their mind is in good shape,
Mhm.
right? The body has nothing to do with it. The body doesn't decide to go to the gym. The body doesn't decide to stay consistent. The body doesn't decide to eat healthy. It all stems from the mind. Every decision you make, the habits you form, the routine, the all of the decisions that go into building a strong, healthy body come from the mind. And what you just have to realize is that it's nothing but a manifestation of someone's aspirations.
Mhm.
And that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I think is that
Well,
it really is mind over matter, right?
it is, and it's a huge feedback loop.
Yeah.
Like, because the first
Yeah, yeah,
part
yeah,
is
yeah.
always going to be the hardest, right? Everyone knows that. But
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
when you get your body on side, like you've
Mhm.
started to push it a bit, and it started to experience some of those benefits, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah, yeah.
here who's worked out knows that, like, even if you just take like a month off training, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a long time, but you can
Yeah.
feel it once you've been to the top, not the top, but you know what I mean. Once you've felt
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
benefits, you can definitely tell. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not
Yeah.
feeling like that? Oh yeah, because I stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's the point I definitely wanted to get to is that and I remember telling you this when I was back home at Christmas. Like for me, I don't understand people complain about how hard it is to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in an arrogant way whatsoever. Like obviously I understand why people find it difficult.
Yeah,
Perhaps
yeah.
that wasn't the best way to phrase it, but like it it's entirely a mindset thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're absolutely right. Once you see the benefits of staying disciplined, of eating clean, of going consistently and progressing. Once you stick out the first few weeks and you look in the mirror one day and you're like, whoa, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're like, right, it clicks, and you're like, yes, this feels so much better
Mm-hmm.
than like slumping around on a sofa all day, like eating terrible food, not not exercising. It's like it's a different way of life. It really, as crazy as that
Yeah, yeah.
sounds, and that it's got that aspect applies to so many things. Like once you take the true path, if we could call it that, right? The true path of virtue towards real happiness,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't slamming a ton of donuts. It's actually eating clean and going to the gym. That's the
Mm-hmm.
true path to happiness. One promises the quick, easy dopamine hit. The other, the choice of Hercules, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that mythological story. The long, difficult path of discipline and virtue is the true path to happiness, whereas vice will always lead you away from real happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And the gym is just the perfect example as to that. It's the perfect manifestation of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Yeah.
And another thing about it is like people take youth for granted, right? Because
Yeah.
you might
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you get older, you might think like, "Oh man, imagine if I'd done that." Because there's a really good quote from Socrates, and
Uh-huh.
it's "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." And he might
Yeah.
be talking about men there, but it applies for women as well. Like,
Obviously.
yeah, like you might look back when you're like 60 and be like, "My God, I had that body, and I never pushed it. I never saw what I was truly capable of."
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
for a few donuts? Like, but like, you can do both. Like,
Yeah.
you can do both.
Yeah, bro. You've seen the way I eat when I come back
Yeah, man.
home.
Like, even if you have to look at it as training means I have a bigger appetite, and the more muscle you have on your body, the higher your metabolism will go.
Yeah.
So, like, you know the 80-20 rule in like clean eating, where like
Yeah.
80% of the time you eat clean, and like 20% of the time you eat
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
The more muscle you put on and the fitter you get and stuff like that, the more
Yeah.
like that 20% will grow. Like the amount of
Yeah.
food you'll be able to eat will be bigger.
Yeah.
So it's like it's even worth
Yeah.
it from that point of view as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. But even coming back like to that point we just made a minute ago about the choice of Hercules, it really is like once you start eating clean, once you start training hard and consistently, and once you start feeling the benefits of improving your health, of building muscle, of losing fat, of getting into great shape, of having tons of energy, you don't even want to eat like shit.
Hmm.
This is the thing. It's like the loop you were talking about. It's like, yeah, yeah, obviously, bro. Like when I come home, I don't. We ate like countless amounts of Domino's pizzas.
Yeah.
Like I think I counted it. I think I was averaging like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day when I was like
God damn.
back home with the sandwich. Just like cake, pizza, just McDonald's, like just eating absolute shit. But
Hmm.
because like we were doing so much, like going down the beach, rock jumping, swimming, like kayaking, like because I was doing all of this and obviously had the high metabolism from all the training I'd done in the year as well. Like you just burn it off.
Yeah.
And it's lightweight. It's lightweight, baby.
Yeah. But like even still, like the food is such a massive part of it. Because
Yeah.
even like though, like
It's
you
the biggest
said,
part.
you'd built
It's the
yourself
biggest
a
part.
foundation, right? Like you
Yeah.
had the body, you had the metabolism, and then you got to eat like shit, and it didn't really affect you. I
Yeah.
remember you saying like it still made you feel sluggish. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like people. I know most people will understand, but if you don't, like that sort of food, like McDonald's, Domino's, all that sort of stuff, it brings you down so much, like so
It's so
much.
it's so bad for you.
Yeah.
It truly is, man.
Because like
But
we live in
yeah,
such a world where we have access to everything we've ever wanted. Like the mind,
yeah.
in my opinion, that like the self discipline, like the mind, has never been so important in civilization. Like because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
truly, truly.
access to everything we could have ever wanted, really, especially in
Yeah.
terms of food, right? Like you can. There's nowhere else in history has the average man or woman, like the average person, been able to go and basically eat an infinite number of calories at any time they want.
At
And
like a fraction of a cost.
yeah, so that like being able to separate yourself from that really like it's really important to develop that.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. That's really well said. Like talking about kind of self-control
Yeah, yeah, for
and stuff.
sure.
And it's like, you didn't even have donuts in ancient Rome. Like
Yeah,
most people were like basically starving anyway. It's like,
exactly.
and when you yeah, I just want to reiterate the point you just made. It's like when you take the elements of self-development you'll learn through fitness, like self-control, control of diet, control of sleep, control of exercise, like it is just so important in the
Hmm.
lives that we live in the digital age, in the you can even call it the dopamine age, I guess.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
scroll, 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 eat, 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 the next series, just binge.
Hmm.
Everything's just binge. And it's just so easy. It's so important to like turn that off and get
Hmm.
on the true path. Find the way out of that. And that circling back to the choice of Hercules, like the true path to happiness and meaning in life is the path of difficulty, is the path of virtue.
Hmm.
do the difficult things that reward you. So that I think that's a good place to start. Um,
Yeah, for
a
sure.
few a few other points that I went. So coming back to like the benefits, you have baseline energy levels increase. Life is just easier to go through physically.
Hmm.
You're not out of breath. You have tons of energy to do stuff. One, boom. Secondly, and this is something I've really noticed. Um, when you look healthy, whether it is um, whether it is tons of muscle or whether it is just lean from like rock climbing or running or going, like if you look good, people treat you better. Like people really do. Like I noticed it, and my whole life, my whole life, I've heard girls kind of reference, when you get like a couple of comments when they see like a picture of like a really muscly guy or whatever, and like,
Mm.
oh no, he's too muscly. And it's like, uh right. So let me tell you, dear listener, I've been a skinny guy, and I'm not huge. I'm not on any steroids. I'm not the biggest guy in every room I've ever been into, but I'm quite large. Let's just say that. And the amount of the difference in the way I've been treated by people is so palpable. It's so noticeable.
Mm.
It is ridiculous. Don't listen to people when they say shit like that. I don't care about muscles. It's like you do. You literally do, right? Like the so I was away all of last year, right? 2021. I
Hmm.
left January, came back like the end of December. And it was just because and that's when I put on 20 kg of muscle, right?
Mm.
I went from 75 up to 95 kg. Probably the same amount of body fat, probably in between 15, you like 14 to 16, that kind of range.
Yeah, yeah.
Um and literally like on the flight to go back, like like the air hostess is fucking like, oh man, I can't. I don't even want to say it because I sound like an absolute prick. But like I was getting so much eye contact from people. I was getting so many comments from people, and it's just like people really do notice and they
Mm.
do treat you better. And it's a very good thing to have in life. It's for people to notice you with kind of respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, humans, they judge, like, even if it's unconsciously, like, they
Mhm.
will judge you no matter what, right? Because, like, they might not be like, oh, I hate him because he's fat, but like,
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you you say like when somebody's in good shape, you can like just tell from that they have discipline, right? And
yeah,
they
yeah.
they have self-respect and stuff like that
It's a
because
different
they,
energy.
yeah, they've
Yeah,
put in the work. And you'll know that, and your mind will process that without you even thinking about it.
yeah,
And like you say, like the respect, you know what I mean? I know for
yeah,
a lot of guys, like definitely a lot of skinny guys, they want that respect, right?
yeah.
Well, there's no point crying about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go and
So
get in the
you have
gym.
that's the whole point. You have to earn it. That's why that's what gives it its value.
Mm-hmm,
Like you
exactly.
have to earn it. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, because if it
And
was hard, everyone would have it, and then nobody would
yeah,
want it.
if it were easy, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So that's so you got tons more energy going through your life. Big win. If when you look good, you get noticed by people in a
It's
very good way,
it's that
and
confidence.
yeah, people treat you differently, and this naturally, without faking it, without kind of without having to like mentally negotiate it, it just gives you more confidence to go through life, like
Mm-hmm.
real lasting confidence, which means something in a really good way, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely. I
And
agree, and it's also
yeah,
like we talk about fitness, but another one I don't know if you want to touch on it today, but is martial arts, like combat
yeah,
sports.
yeah,
Like you're talking about the confidence, right? I'm
hmm,
not suggesting anyone go learn martial arts to beat anyone up. I'm sure they'd teach you that anyway. At martial arts, like
yeah,
most martial arts classes have lessons about how to use it. But
yeah,
like that inner physical confidence, you know what I mean? Like if something happens, I could put up a fight. That for
yeah,
men especially, that makes a
yeah.
difference to just how you walk into a room.
Really, 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 it does. And I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people listening to that might hear it and think, nah, no way. But like it does.
Yeah, it
You know
does.
what I mean? Like the underlying physicality, the way I have a friend here, right?
Mm.
Who's like 6'6" and 140 kilograms, right?
God no.
He is a monster. The
Yeah.
way that I talk to him is different to the way I talk to other people. Right? It just is. And it's not that I'm disrespectful to anyone, but like you do, you do. The gravity of the situation is forced upon you, right?
Yeah, but like in
Like,
biological terms, your body has to have a defense mechanism like that.
yeah,
Like otherwise, because the ones that didn't would have been erased from the gene pool. Do you know what I mean? If you're talking about
yeah,
like when humans are actually like the subconscious was developing these traits,
yeah,
which is why people respect physical strength and physical
mhm,
size. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it.
It, yeah,
Yeah,
and
go on.
even yeah, exactly. But like to bring that like full circle, to have the strength physically is a very important, very important aspect of life. Right? I was in a nightclub in Spain
Mm-hmm.
on Halloween, so it would have been like Monday night, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
like this week, Monday night. And there was a guy. I was out with my girlfriend and a couple of her friends, and there was this guy who was just too drunk, kind of bumping into her and kind of trying to chat her up. And he put her arm around her and he was just trying to chat her up, like my girlfriend, right?
Mm.
And I looked at him and I just knew that if shit went sideways, like this guy wasn't going to be a problem
Yeah, exactly.
because I have this physical strength to defend myself and others. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? No, nothing happened. Fortunately, she very much managed to resolve the situation. We all just moved away. But like, if it did come to it, like there was no worry in my mind. I wasn't worrying. Oh no, I don't think I can actually help my girlfriend if
Yeah,
something
yeah,
happens here. I was like, no, if this creep pushes it too far, then I can sort it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And so there you go. You get tons of energy. People treat you well. Well, not well. People treat you better, and you get noticed more
It
in a very good way. And you have this physical strength just to kind of. It just gives you such a good
it also
level of confidence in life.
it also teaches you a lot about yourself. Like
Hmm.
when you're really pushed to your limit. Like
Hmm.
there's a quote and it's like fatigue makes cowards of us all. And it's like when you actually feel that, when you're pushed to your limit,
Hmm.
when the chips are down, what are you gonna do? Like how
Yep.
are you gonna respond to that situation? Are you gonna give up?
Who are
Or are
you?
you gonna push? Like a lot of people
Yeah.
say like I'm a fan of traveling. I'm not dissing traveling, but you know when
Hmm.
people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Thailand to find myself."
Yeah.
Like honestly, get in the ring with someone and get punched in the face, and then not have to fight them, and then you'll realize more about yourself in like 5 minutes than you
Yeah.
could in like a month in Thailand.
Leg day will reveal traveling. It really will. who who's who can fucking do the calf raises, boys?
Oh no, no, no.
You're a quitter, bro.
Nah, my calves are genetic. I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like when you're at that bottom of that last rep, it's like, have you got it in you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like what are you about? What are you gonna do?
and
This
it
this is a you're just putting yourself against difficulty. You know what
and
I
when
mean?
you overcome it, it is so rewarding.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter how much you're lifting or like who you're fighting or anything like that, or like
Hmm.
sparring with. If you like get put down like that, like oh I don't think I'm
Hmm.
gonna get this rep, say, and it's like halfway up and you're struggling and you get it.
Hmm.
There's unless you've injured yourself, which I hope as long as you're using proper form, it's probably not gonna happen.
Hmm.
I doubt anyone has ever sat up from a rep like that or got up from a rep like that and been like annoyed or anything. They
I'm
probably
depressed.
landed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They probably landed. They got that. Then that's
Yeah.
that's powerful, man. You can use that.
Absolutely stoked. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason, so the opening comments we made about like why the gym fitness is the perfect hyperbole or metaphor for life is exactly that,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like the easy thing to do is not to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
The easy thing to do is not to eat consistently. The easy thing to do is just to just to stay not exercising, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can develop the mental fortitude to cultivate this routine of going into the gym, putting your body against resistance, and as we said earlier, putting your mind against resistance.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that is the true it's the true path
It
through
is.
life. It's the true path through life. Putting yourself up against meaningful resistance, overcoming it, and moving forwards in that direction
Mm-hmm.
is the way to go through life. And
I think a lot of people will be
yeah.
encouraged. Well, not encouraged, but like it's never been easier to be a high quality person. You know, in terms
Yeah.
of like the obesity rates in the UK. I'm looking at a stat right now. Right,
Yeah.
68% of men are in the
Fucking
UK are obese or overweight. Right,
yeah.
and
Yeah. And it's like it's not like you don't notice that, bro.
no,
Walk around a city in the UK and you open your eyes and you're like, fuck.
just the obesity portion is 63%, right, as a whole country. That's not
Jesus
right. That's
Christ.
so if you are just putting in the effort, you're basically in the top 30% of men just by being able to go to the gym 3 times a week. Like no, like
Oh, that's depressing.
it's never been so easy to break into that like
Yeah.
upper echelon.
Yeah, to get noticed.
Yeah, so and then
Yeah.
all the benefits and everything, it's such a fantastic foundation for all the other things we're going to be talking about in other episodes as well.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
they won't work. It just won't happen if you're not like building yourself up physically. You'd have to go through a million different things in a million weird ways to learn the lessons that fitness can teach you.
Yeah. Instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. So that kind of wraps up like why you should train.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, listener, like even if that means picking up a sport,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
It doesn't
whether
have to
that's
be bodybuilding.
yeah, exactly. Like you can be going, and even in the gym, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It could be powerlifting. It could
Yeah.
just be strength training. Like it could be strongman. But even if you could be doing like rock climbing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be football,
Yeah,
like
rugby's probably pretty
rowing,
common.
rugby. I think rugby you'll have to get into
No, I
weightlifting.
suppose,
But
yeah.
like yeah, just getting active, like running, walking, swimming, just some sort of physical activity. That way the chips are down and it's just you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to decide how you're gonna act. Do you push yourself harder and strive to improve yourself more, to iron out your weaknesses, to just take yourself to the next step with every session, whether that's trying a more difficult climb, pushing yourself for a faster sprint, etc., etc., etc. Like, get into fitness.
It's also a really good some people use like escapism, like when people aren't happy with their lives and stuff and they escape
Yeah,
to like video games and stuff like that.
yeah,
The gym and fitness in general is an amazing like productive way of like not escaping because you're not running away permanently, but like being
yeah.
able to put your problems on the back burner
Of that
and
mental release. Yeah,
really focus on yourself and
yeah.
like give yourself some time. And like when you're at the bottom of a dirty set, you got that last 30 rep. Nothing else matters in life. You're not thinking about anything else, are you? Nothing. All you're thinking about is if you're on bench, if you're getting that weight up. That's it. You know what I mean? And that.
Why are you gonna be pinned to the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
bench?
Well, hopefully you've got the things or you got a spotter, but you know what I mean. You're nothing else matters at that point, and that
Yeah,
sort of release, like from your stress, is
yeah,
very important for mental health too. Because we haven't even touched on the
very.
mental health side of it. We've touched on like the
Yeah,
mental benefits in terms of like what it does for you, for your confidence and how it helps you like bake self improvement into your life. But we haven't even
yeah,
talked about the mental health benefits yet either.
yeah, yeah. Like the stress relief,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of the hormonal releases
Mm-hmm.
and exercise. I mean, some clever scientist has probably written a lovely paper about it somewhere. You can go check it up if you really want the evidence. But I can just tell you from my own experience, it's like just life's better. like it's that simple. Like lift weights, life better, right? Don't complicate it. It really is that fucking simple.
We're such cavemen when it comes down to it. It's like still, you pick up heavy thing, put it down, and I'm happy.
Yeah, well, that's nothing's more true of that than deadlifts, right? It's just like lift up, down, again,
And then smile. Well, nobody's
and
smiling
then
after a dirty deadlift session.
oh, I am, bro. I am. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a fucking sadistic little cunt. I
A
guess.
fiend.
But yeah, okay. So that's why you should train, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think specifically, just so we're not talking about too vague a term here, let's go forward in this conversation now, talking specifically about weight training,
Okay.
because it's what you and I both way more familiar with than anything else.
Yeah.
And to come back to a point I made earlier, right, where I said some people find it difficult to go to the gym and stay consistent. Myself and many other people, and perhaps even you, we haven't spoken about this yet. This is the first time you and I having this conversation in a couple of months.
Mm.
Myself and many other people find it difficult not to go to the gym.
Well, once that habit's in, it is difficult.
It's like once, again, coming back to what we said earlier, just to iterate it again. Once you see the gains, both strength and
I'm making them gains, man.
oh, cats. Once you see the strength going up, once you see the mass going up, you realize that you don't want it's not, how do you say that? It's just like you want more.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? You don't want to just quit. You
your
want to
eyes-
keep going.
Your eyes have been opened to what's possible if you put in the work.
Yeah, exactly, man. So this mindset, right? Some people find it difficult to go consistently. Some people find it difficult not to go consistently.
Mm.
What is the difference? And the answer is the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? The mindset of people who stay consistent in the gym is different to the people who don't. It's that simple. It's got nothing to do with genetics, nothing to do with hormones. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just people view the situation differently.
Yeah, like I liked the quote. It's like you have to remove. Like I think Jocko talks about this. He doesn't like. It's not a factor. How he feels isn't a factor. It's just he just does it because he knows he should. Like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to go to the gym. Like that's like those are the sessions that are the most important by far.
Yeah.
Like when you really, really, really don't want to go, that one will separate you. That one will build the discipline to get you there. That is the
test
one.
of character, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the test of character. Yeah. It's an interesting point, and he made this and kind of emphatically when he was emerging. It's kind of like emotions don't get a vote, right? There's no fact that you don't feel like it. Good, do it anyway.
Yeah.
But again, like this mindset, people who stay consistent, people who don't. For me, and I'm not saying it, by the way, to you, James, and to the listener, I don't say any of this to brag. I say it because it's, in my opinion, the correct mindset to have about training. It's like, I am genuinely stoked to go to the gym. Right? There's no even a fucking dirty deadlift session, bro. I genuinely want to get in there.
Of course.
I want to get in there and just put myself into that difficulty and to just stay consistent and all of the benefits afterwards, of course. But just initially, people say, "Oh, the gym's really hard." Like, why do I feel like I don't want to go? It's because you're not thinking about it correctly. And I think I don't hear many people actually making this point at all. Is that if you feel like you don't want to go, you're not thinking properly, or you're thinking in like a self-impeding way, I should say. Perhaps it's a better way of saying it. And that's the point I want to make to you and the listener right now, is that like if you're finding it difficult to stay consistent in anything, but particularly the gym, it's because you're not thinking about it correctly. You're not thinking about it in a way that's self-beneficial, you could say. And you've just got to, I don't know a formula of how to get to this mindset.
Dedication
but you just gotta,
and discipline, I would say.
Yeah, and also make sure the training that you're doing works, one, and two is something yeah, we're gonna get into that definitely. Maybe in a future episode we'll talk about the specifics of weight training and stuff that we've learned. But like, just really, really, really make sure the training is something you're excited to do. Like I genuinely, again, not bragging, just genuinely, I love getting in the gym. I love lifting weights. Love training. I really, it's one of the best parts of my life, as sad as that sounds.
A lot of people aren't going to have that, though. There's like a lot of the, because like we said earlier, it's about taking your emotions out of it. Like you might really want to go and they might not want to go, but you still have to go, like no matter what.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great point. Even if you don't feel like that, fall back on like
Like,
the conventional
yeah,
wisdom
like
of just keep going.
the end game is where you're at with that mindset, right?
Yeah.
But not like people might not like that. Like
Yeah.
some people just might not like the gym, but you
Yeah.
should still do it. Like
Yeah.
that's just because of all the benefits we've talked about. Like it's only like you can get away with 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like for all those benefits, you should just do it.
Yeah.
Like no matter
And
what.
yeah. But to that point though, bro, like I agree with you if say you're a guy and you want to put on muscle,
Mm.
but you don't like going to the gym, definitely I will agree with you. But if you're someone who just wants to get healthy, have to go to the gym to get
Oh, well, I
healthy.
don't mean healthy. I mean like fitness. Like you should
Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
cardio. Like I'm not just
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said earlier.
There
I
you go.
don't mean everyone should just be bodybuilders or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
There you
like
go. Yeah, yeah.
you should do something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then we completely agree. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you want to get active, go running. If you don't like running, cycle. You don't like cycling, row. You don't like rowing, play
Swim.
football. You
Yeah,
don't like
do something.
football, find something you love.
Mm.
And it really takes away this friction and confusion and this kind of dissonance that you might feel about certain things.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, just get stoked about just find something you love.
A lot of people
Find
get
something you
in.
really, really love
A
and
lot
get
of
into it.
people they get in their own heads in terms of like, oh, I want to try this, but you know, I think I'll be rubbish, so I'm just not going to do it. Like,
Yeah,
because
fuck
you can
that.
only find something you love if you try a bunch of things, right? Like the
Yeah.
chances of you saying like, oh, I want to try tennis, and that's the
Mhm.
first thing you try, and you just fall in love with it. You know, that might not
Yeah.
happen. You know what I mean? The chances are that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you have to try a bunch of stuff to really
Yeah.
find that. And people might be like, "Oh, well, that's a pain. You know, that's a pain." But it's worth
Yeah.
it, isn't it? Don't you want to be able to reap these benefits and enjoy what you're doing whilst you're doing it?
Yeah. 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 Well said, bro. So that's kind of like the mindset point, right?
Mm.
It's kind of like we said earlier, mind over matter. When
Hmm.
people have strong bodies, it's not because they were born like it, it's because they have strong minds and they made the right decisions to get to that point, right?
Yes.
Or maybe they're just blown up on trend, but like but like that's another conversation. But so another really key element that's probably the best advice I could ever pass on to anyone else when it comes to fitness is don't view it day to day.
Hmm.
Don't wake up in the morning and think, "Oh, what day is it today? What should I train today?
Oh yeah,
I
that's
don't know what I'm
massive.
going to eat. I don't know what I'm going to train. I'm just going to turn up to the gym and see what happens."
That's
You,
destined to fail.
yeah, and this is the advice. You have to make it part of a routine.
Hmm.
It has to become part of your lifestyle. If you do, say you're not in the gym right now. If you do everything else exactly the same and you workouts a week, nothing's going to happen.
Hmm.
Nothing's going to happen. You have to make it a routine. You
Hmm.
have to make it part of your week. It has to be like planned ahead. And I don't mean that in the sense of plan it minute by minute, but you just have to have that structure in your life of knowing what's going on when you're doing it.
What I found was when I was getting into fitness, and every time I like fell off the wagon and then got back on,
Mhm.
is that I'd come out the gates flying, right? You'd go
Yeah.
like to the gym 6 times a week for like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
weeks, and then you
Mhm.
just can't keep it up. So
Burn out.
because like same with learning a language, same with learning anything, it's
Mhm.
better to do smaller sessions more times a week,
Yeah.
like frequency.
Yeah,
So
really.
I would say like you might watch a particularly hype video on the internet that really motivates you, you know,
Mhm.
and you might be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna go to the gym six times a week next week, and it's
Mhm.
just like the biggest advice I would give to a beginner is like maybe hold off on that. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you might be one of the ones that can keep it up,
Mhm.
but the chances of that being the case is pretty low.
Yeah.
It's like you should work like for a set on bench. You wouldn't go in with your working weight. You know what I mean? It's something
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to build up to over like a month or two.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And yeah.
because you can
That
go to
that's
the gym 6 times a week. Like there's a
yep.
split for
Push
that.
push pull legs. Push
Yeah,
pull legs.
but most people won't be able to go from nothing to 6 times a week and make that sustainable. It's that you
Yeah.
have to ramp it up.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And you have to see it as a process, right? If you if you rock up in June expecting to get a summer body in July, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That isn't how it works.
Uh-huh.
It's a constant process, and you have to see it as such. Don't rock up to the gym once a week, put in a 6-hour workout.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
You just do smaller workouts more frequently.
Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour is more than enough.
You can and this is a point you've made multiple times already. Really, you can start off with 3 gym sessions a week. Three weightlifting sessions a week is more than enough
It
if
is.
if you have the correct training principles, if you're recovering properly, which we'll get to in a bit.
Hmm.
And if you do that consistently for for well, I mean X amount of time, that will be so much more value to you. That will give you so much more results than just going ham in the motherfudging paint
Another thing
for
that,
like 2 weeks.
yeah, well, another thing that I've noticed as well is most people don't have like an aversion to actually working out. It's more
Mhm.
of breaking the habit of like actually getting to the gym. Because like
Yeah, okay.
most people get to the gym and they'll work out, right?
Mhm.
So what I did to like, because I struggled with consistency for ages, right? Ages, like years, yeah. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's so annoying. But I cracked the way I cracked it was if you're really not feeling like going, say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do one exercise of one set and then go home, right?
Yeah.
And legitimately, if you go
Yeah.
and
It
and
happens.
and you still feel like death, then go home. Then legitimately just go home, because what you've done is you've put the habit in of going.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
more important in the early stages. Actually, just going and getting that habit. Don't break the habit. Even if you go and do one exercise and have to come home,
Yeah.
just do that. Because if
That's
you
that's that's a great point.
yeah, because getting there is what's important at the start.
Yeah.
Because you might not be recovering well enough. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like your body might not be used to it. You might not be eating enough calories. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. But just
Yeah.
make sure you get there.
Yeah.
Just do, just one exercise that, and over the long run, the chances are you get there and you'll be like, fuck it, I'm here now, I'm just gonna do all of it.
You just walk right into the fucking squat rack.
Yo,
You put
literally.
you put 2 plates in the
Oh,
bar and start fucking curling, bro.
god damn, yeah. But that act of just
Yeah.
getting there, I think at the start
Yeah.
is hugely overlooked.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's a really interesting point, man.
Yeah, well, it helped me, and it took me. I couldn't crack it, man. It took me like what, 5 years to crack it.
Yeah, staying consistent on it.
Yeah, so that's always been my downfall, the
Yeah.
consistency. So
Yeah.
that's
But
my
but
my
th- but that's
advice.
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point we're making now, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you have to view it as a routine. You're not committing to one workout. You're committing to the next.
five
I mean,
years, like all the rest of your
yeah,
life,
yeah.
hopefully. But
Rest of your life. That's what I wanted to say. But it's
yeah,
like don't see it as an individual thing. See it as an entire shift in your mindset and in your lifestyle,
hmm,
and cultivate a routine, right? So I think some of the best advice I've ever received in my life was from Jocko. He
oh
said,
yeah,
"Wake up early and go to the gym,"
hmm,
right? And it's just build a habit, build a habit, build a habit, make a routine. Don't think too much about each individual one. Don't randomly try and allocate time to it. Just formulate a plan, formulate a routine, and just go through the motions, go through the motions,
yeah,
rely on that consistency. Do be realistic with what you can do and do it.
yeah. I like when you talk about going through the motions, because sometimes you have to, like, not every, like, motivation's fickle. Yeah, not
Yep.
every, you're not gonna be in the gym every single time. Like, do you think that like Mr. Olympia or these professional footballers or anything, every single time they went to work out or do sprints on the field in the rain, they wanted to be there? Like, no,
Yeah.
probably not. But they just did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you talk about like going through the motions. Sometimes you just have to go through the motions.
Yep. Just
Um,
just just stick to the routine.
and
Stick to the habit.
earlier you said like don't just go to the gym and just like, oh, I'll do some of this. Some of this I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
Yep.
One of the most important things is to like track. Like you have specific days and specific exercises, so you
Mhm.
can go through the motions if you really need to. You don't have to
Mhm.
think about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then write down what you're like, track what you're lifting, because for progressive overload that's
Yep.
huge.
Yeah, that was if you're not planning your workouts, you'll obviously you'll see some kind of benefits,
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously you'll get the mental benefits of going in the gym. But like in terms of progressing and improving, like you're really missing like a 90% the efficiency that you could be maintaining. Like
Mm.
that's a brilliant point. So and now we're getting into like the principles of training, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we said why we need to train and kind of the mindset you need to adopt to start training. It's a habit, it's a mindset, it's a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And now it kind of like, so how do you train?
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Continuing on for the routine point, like you said, you have to plan your sessions, as in Monday I train legs, or whatever it is. You
Well,
know
that's a
what?
dirty Monday, mate. After work, I'm going straight into the squat rack
I
to
know
do some
before work,
curl
definitely.
PRs.
So, but yeah, it's just an example, right? You need to plan your split. Don't leave it up to guesswork. Plan your split. On
Mhm,
this day, I'm training this. On this day, I'm training this. This day, I'm resting.
mhm,
Right? And the perfect split that I've found is the upper body, lower body, rest. So upper body, chest, shoulders, arms, back.
mhm.
Lower body, legs and core. Third day, rest. Repeat. A 3-day cycle. Upper, lower, rest. So if you're new to training, or if you that's just something for you to consider.
Mhm.
Upper body one day, lower body the next, rest, then go.
Like even if like you won't get optimal like benefits from this in terms of just like if you're trying to put on muscle and stuff like that. But even if
Mhm.
that seems too intimidating for you, it's like, oh, I don't have time. Even 2 full body workouts
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
week would be
That's so true.
massive.
That's so true. That's so true. There was a point. Yeah, that's kind of how I spent most of my beginner gains. Really, is doing full
Yeah,
body sessions. So bench, rows, overhead press, squat,
yeah, that's
and stupidly, like, because when you're a noob, like the muscles just flying on you, right?
yeah.
And I deadlift as well.
That's a dirty day, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, the big compounds, right?
Yeah,
You
you
just
want to
go
focus
through,
on compound lifts as a beginner for sure.
yeah, three sets of each twice a week. Boom.
Hmm.
You'll put on so much fucking muscle you won't believe.
As long as you got the diet, which we can talk about in a sec.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get. So
Like
so
the
that's the thing,
recovery.
right? Plan your split.
Hmm.
Plan it. Even if it means writing on a whiteboard, if it means making a note on your phone, if it means drawing it out on a piece of paper, have a split planned
It's like
and stick to it.
put the work in to organize everything when you're motivated.
Yeah,
And then when you're not, you've already done the leg room. You know the leg work. You know what's gonna, what needs to be
yeah.
done,
You
what
know what's
needs to be
happening.
eaten, what like PRs you need to hit, blah 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 blah. So
Yeah,
you can just focus on that, the small things
yeah.
when you're not feeling the motivation because you've already done the work.
Yeah, and then it's you got to plan the session, right? You don't want to turn up to the gym and be like, "The fuck do I do?
Yeah, yeah,
I feel
obviously.
like I feel like doing this. I feel like doing that." Nope, we're not doing that anymore. Bye bye. You're gonna plan your workout. You start off with the compounds, move to the auxiliaries.
Hmm.
So start off with your benches, with your dips, squats, overhead press, rows, all of these big compound movements, right? And then move on to the bicep curls and the tricep extensions and the narrow grip bench press and stuff like that.
Curl is
So
a compound exercise for me.
is it it works my lower back.
And my quads.
Yeah. So yeah, plan your split. So on what days you're doing what. Plan the sessions. So when you rock up to the gym, you know exactly what's going on.
Should we
Uh
define compound movements just in case some people don't know?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So a compound movement would be a movement that uses more than one joint. So normally it's the bigger, heavy movements like bench press, like Tommy said, squats, deadlifts, any movement that moves more than one joint that you're going to be using. Like it's more of a not a full body, but some of them definitely are like full body exercises.
Like
Though,
curls.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, um, those are the ones that you really, really want to focus on because they will be your fitness foundation.
Yeah.
Like everything you do, like curls are great and all, but you'll probably make more bicep gains from rowing, like heavy rows,
Mhm.
than curls if you just did curls.
Yeah.
So really, if you're starting and you don't have the energy to do the accessories, compounds, it has to be the big compounds that should be the
Stick to compounds.
priority.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, bro. Well said. So that's the 2 points, right? Plan your days, plan your sessions, and
Mhm.
on following on to the point you made a few minutes ago, track your workouts,
Mm.
right? Track them. So when you write down what you're gonna do, say you're gonna write down 4 sets of bench press, and then you write down the reps and the weights. So say you go 4 sets of 8 with 60
Mhm.
kg for anyone who's listening outside of Europe. Four sets of 8 with 60. If you finish all 4 sets nicely with good form, you're in a position to increase the weight or the
Mhm.
reps in the next session. So make a note of that. That what I do, most people use their phone to do this, but they just write what they should do the next session once they finished the
Mhm.
exercise, right? So once you finish the bench, 4 sets of 8 with 60, make a note and say next time you come in the gym, do 4 sets of 4 with 65
Mhm.
or 70 or whatever you feel like you want to, however you want to overload. But you have to track it,
Mhm.
otherwise you'll never know which way you're going, right?
You could post one of yours because I know you write yours by hand. You
Yeah,
could post a picture of one on Instagram.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Mm.
point. I'll get my numbers up a bit.
Just
No,
lie,
no,
it's
no.
fine. 405 bench, 700 pound
four,
deadlift.
4 plate.
Classic. But yeah, I think that'd be good for people to see as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I'll definitely. Yeah, that's a great point. Um, so yeah, there you go. Plan the split, plan your sessions, and track your lifts,
Hmm.
so that you know when you come down the next week, you can increase the weight, increase the reps, whatever, and that's how you progress.
Hmm.
Like we said earlier, it's a routine, it's a habit, it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
And it's over the weeks that you see the progress. It's not session to session.
And
It's yeah,
it might sound intimidating, like you're staring up this massive mountain, but you'll find you really will, like, even if like you hate going to the gym, right?
yeah,
You will in when you get back from the gym, you will enjoy that feeling. And you will
yeah,
enjoy like seeing the gains you're making. Even if
yeah,
you don't enjoy the gym, it's not this massive mountain. It's
yeah,
fun. And it's a mountain. It might be a long way, but it's not uphill. It's downhill.
yeah,
The longer you do it, the more your speed will increase. The easier it'll get, the less resistance
yeah.
you'll face. So
The
think about it like
yeah.
there's a little uphill, and then it's just a massive downhill in terms of how easy it becomes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, really, 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 really. Like, and the crazy thing is, bro, you start lifting, and when you start recovering properly, which we're gonna get into now,
Hmm.
the fucking weight flies up, man. In the first 6 months of your training, the leaps you'll
Hmm.
make are huge.
Well, in the first 6 months, you get steroid like gains. No, it is like basically all steroids do is keep that rolling.
So yeah, man. It's like you might think, if say if you're starting out for the first time, like, trust me, 6 months from your first session, you will be a completely different person.
Hmm.
Physique, mindset, strength. Your life will be so much better, and you'll be able to achieve so much more than you thought possible
Hmm.
once you start recovering properly, which we'll get into now.
Yeah, should we do that now?
And yeah, so that's the basic principles of training, right? Plan, execute, track.
Hmm.
Plan, execute, track, and that's how you progress, right? And here's what nobody is really pushing. Here's what people who only make gains really realize. So listen well. Lifting is only 1% of lifting, right? Lifting is only 1% of lifting. 99% of lifting is how you eat.
Hmm.
It sounds ridiculous. It sounds really boring because no one's fired up to do some cooking, but like, but it's facts. It's
Mm.
facts, bro. Like, I don't want to hear otherwise. It's like, if you train like an absolute psycho, but you're not getting your protein and you're not hitting your calories, you're not gonna make gains.
No.
You're not.
No.
It's biology unless you're loaded up on Tren again. But but even then, right? So it's like you have, and this is what I wish somebody told me. You have to take recovery
Yeah.
more seriously than you do your training.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to the point of 2 full body workouts a week is more than enough to gain muscle. Absolutely. 100% that is the case, so long as you are recovering properly, right? Which means drinking water, getting your 8 hours of sleep, and then hitting your diet targets,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll explain on now.
So I had a problem. I had a problem for ages with the protein.
Yeah.
Like
So
trust.
we've got some dirty hacks
Yeah,
to share with
trust
everyone
me.
now.
Like I managed to crack the consistency bit, and I
Mhm.
remember being like disappointed. Like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
just not putting on as much size. Maybe I've just got really shit genetics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember the thinking about wait. I remember looking. I saw this Greek yogurt, and the macros in it were mental. I was like,
Bro, you've genuinely changed my life with that shit.
I was looking at it and I was like, well, this could be a foundation because it's pretty cheap. Like you can get Greek yogurt for pretty cheap. Like there are
Yeah.
some expensive ones that you can have, and like
Yeah.
there's skier as well, which is like Icelandic yogurt.
That's the good stuff, bro.
Yeah, it's a bit more expensive that, but like you can get pots in Aldi. I'm pretty sure in the UK for like £1.50, like 500 gram pots.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I remember, like, I distinctly remember the difference. Like this, like I was working out in the summer, but I wasn't like consistently, and I'd done it and whatever. But I
Yeah.
wasn't like hitting my protein consistently every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember
That's the key. That's the key.
going to the being enlightened by the Greek yogurt. And in like 2 or 3 weeks, I had like stretch marks on my chest. I was just like blowing up. I was like, God damn! Like the protein is huge. It makes such a massive difference.
Yeah, and that really, that's the bottom line. You just you nailed it with that saying. Once you consistently hit the protein, you make gains, right?
Yeah.
There's no genetics, there's no metabolism, there's no secret. You lift weights, you hit your protein daily, you're done. You're done now. Boom. Like it's just like it is that fucking simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it is just and exactly the same principles we used for the training. You have to apply them to your diet too.
Mm-hmm.
Plan your diet, right? And that doesn't have to mean like writing a super complex meal plan. It's just as simple as having like 4 staples,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like just having 4. Whether
Having
that's
like
like a bowl
some,
of cereal in the morning, your
yeah.
Greek yogurt in the night, the protein shake, and then like a big main dinner, whatever it is. Like that right there is what I did for. Well, that's what I do right now.
Yeah. The Greek yogurt is like godsend. So
Yeah, man.
the macros on Greek yogurt is 10 grams of protein per 100 grams of Greek yogurt, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
skyr.
Oh, mate, I got one for 11.
Oh, the dirty one. You got the
Yeah.
you got the
It's
special one.
it's got the skiers.
Oh yeah,
Oh no, I think it's
it's
10.5
10.
actually.
It's around 10. So what I do,
10.5.
because I don't particularly much like drinking protein shakes, because
Yeah.
with the skyr and like Greek yogurt, if you get the no fat version, it's really not that filling.
Yeah.
Like you might be full like straight after you eat it,
Yeah.
but after like an hour or so, it's like gone because fat's what sits, right? It's like
Yeah,
sits
yeah.
and digests. So I do
Digestion
500
so good.
grams of Greek yogurt or skyr, and then 2 scoops of protein in that, and that's 100
fucking-
grams. That's
yeah,
100
that's
grams for like 85p, basically,
that's
if you
fucking
include the
nuts.
protein.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
And like if you're, you've got some like beef or chicken in the diet, then you're basically done for the day already.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, really, really, really.
It's really quite. I remember looking at it and being like, now I'm doing it. I'm like, was it this easy the whole time? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, really. I felt the same. Because I was like, yeah, really. And so like to break down like what macros mean, if this is the absolute first time you listen to this, basically your body needs there's 3 main macro compounds, right? Macronutrients
Yeah,
is the proper
macronutrients.
word. Carbohydrates and fats, which your body uses for energy, and protein, which your body uses for rebuilding its
Mhm.
cells. And we all know mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Shut up. Another thing talking about fats though is a lot of people will make the mistake of having their fats too low.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, because they think like, oh well, I eat fat, I become fat, but it's
Fat
not.
is fat.
Yeah, but it's like that's not how it works.
That's the opposite.
Fat is exceptionally important for testosterone production. Like
Yep.
if you like mess your fat up, it will tank your testosterone,
Yeah,
and
you need.
you will notice it.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
got to you
around,
got to get those Brazil nuts in,
yeah, it's
boys.
about 30%. I think you want.
Yeah, just get fats in, man. From whole food
Yeah,
sources.
healthy
If you're getting it
sources,
from nuts and peanut butter, like
avocado, stuff like that.
yeah, man, you're laughing. Like that's so important.
Hmm.
So that's basically what you want to do, right? And here's the really fucking simple maths, right? It's not complicated. You don't need to go watch. You don't need to go watch all of these like a library of videos on the best way to gain muscle and the 7 secret food hacks, right? This is let me lay it out for you. Listen up. You have calories and you have protein, right? Go into just type in calorie calculator now on Google and type in your dimensions and it'll give you like a good like ballpark figure to start with.
Hmm.
Um, and that'll tell you how many calories you need to gain or to lose weight, right? And it's to put on muscle, it's best to be in a caloric surplus because then you'll have way more energy for when you go to the gym, and also your body is just in a calorific surplus, so it can build
Well,
way
muscle
easier.
is metabolically quite expensive, so your body needs to be in a surplus
Yeah,
to want to put that on.
yeah. So that's what you got. There's two things you got to figure out, right? How many calories should you be hitting in a day, and how much protein should you be getting in a day? Now,
Hmm.
protein is measured in grams.
Hmm.
And what I do is I just take kilogram body weight, times it by 2, and that's how many grams you should be eating a day. How many
Hmm.
grams of protein you should be eating a day. And,
Yeah,
and that's it. Those are the two figures you need to work out. How many calories should I be eating in a day? How much protein in grams should I be eating in a day?
so yeah, the calorie calculators probably will add up your. They'll make a good estimate at your. Wait, what's it called again? Oh, that's it. The calorie
Mm-hmm.
counters will make a good estimate of your maintenance calories. So those are the
Mm-hmm.
calories you need to just stay exactly the same for your body to
Yeah.
maintain. And then
Yeah.
an easy rule of thumb is if you want to go into a cut and lose some body fat, take 500 calories off.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do a bulk, then just put 500 calories on. That's a good rule of thumb. So, because some people
Mm-hmm.
take the bulk way too extreme, as we all have before, the fucking dreamer bulk, the Domino's bulk, it happens.
Yeah.
And then people also take the cut too extreme, and they can't
Yeah.
keep it up.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah.
All of fitness is a process. And the worst advice, or the worst slash the yo, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I dropped for a sec. Yeah, so the best slash worst advice I ever got was from that massive friend of mine I was telling you about, and he used to play professional basketball, right?
All right.
And he was telling me, um, yeah, this was like last year. He was telling me he got like 300 kg on the squat, right?
God
And
damn.
I was like, and he's huge, 100 kg,
Yeah.
6'6", and I was like, how many calories do you need in a day? And he was like, about over 10,000.
God damn.
Really? And I was like, how do you hit that? And he leaned in close to me. It was like, it could have been in a film, bro. And he was like, I'll tell you the secret, bro. And I was like, yeah, what's that, man? And he was like, eat a tub of Ben and Jerry's every night.
Oh, them
And
secret gains, man.
yeah, and that's what I did for like 3 or 4 months. And those are the 3 or 4 months that I put on like 20 kg of
Was that
muscle.
a dirty bulk?
It was a dirty bulk, yeah, mate. But yeah. So I don't advise that. Definitely go about it in a bit more less expensive way. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what you need to do. So plan your sessions, track them, plan your diet, and just stay consistent. And it results will come. There's no guesswork. There's no subjectivity. There's no.
That's the one thing I love about fitness. Like if you're trying to start a business or like trying to work for yourself or even us doing the podcast, right? There's no
Yeah.
guarantee anyone's going to watch this.
Yeah,
Like,
I doubt anyone's this far.
if you're here, right, your dick is massive. I don't care what gender you are. You have a massive cock, and I respect it, right? You exude that big dick energy. But like with fitness, there is no guesswork. Like you do it and you get the results, which is just like so. It's like comforting almost.
Yeah, that's the meme, right? It's like girls come and go, but the bench is forever, like shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the beginner advice, right?
Yeah, I'd say
That isn't even beginner advice. That's just advice, full stop.
That's it, mate.
That is lifting in a nutshell, man.
The only other one that we didn't like hit on its own, you did briefly mention it, but sleep as well.
Yeah.
Like sleep is where you build muscle
Yep.
and you repair, and your nervous system repairs, as you know, getting fucking central nervous system damage. He's just
Twice.
he's just too keen for those dirty deadlifts.
Yeah, that's a funny story actually. We'll have to tell.
Yeah, but sleep like 8 to 9 hours, but 8 hours minimum.
Yeah, that's
Like
the minimum.
you have
That's the
to
minimum.
be dedicated with that. Like when people
Yeah.
say, like when Tommy was saying like the lifting weights is like the 1%. I wouldn't
Yep.
say 1%, but it's definitely less. The recovery is actually the hard part because like
Yeah.
going to sleep on time is a ball ache for most people. Eating is a ball ache. Do you know what I mean? Like
hmm
but you can
hmm
crack it. It becomes a lot easier once you like Tommy said,
The
have the staple meals that you can go to, and you've
yeah,
already figured it out.
it's the routine. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
routine. The routine will help you accomplish anything
yeah.
in life, I would say, but also specifically with fitness.
But
It's
if
like
you're
you gotta have that routine.
if you find yourself scrolling TikTok like 2 in the morning,
Yeah,
it's you've been had.
you're done now.
You're done, fam. But that like yeah, the sleep is super super important. Again, it's one of the things that holds a lot of people, me included, back. It's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard. It's a hard one for sure. But you need to crack
yeah,
it.
man. That's it, right? You gotta exercise,
Mhm.
right? And do remember all the principles. If you haven't written them down, by the way, it could be a good idea.
Mhm.
Remember all these principles that we've just spoken about, right? Plan, execute, and track.
Mhm.
Both the exercise and the diet, and then the other forms of recovery that are just as right. You have to stay, as Eddie Hall says, hydrated, right? Got to drink your water, and you need the sleep, right? 8 hours minimum.
Uh-huh.
Get the sleep in, and just form this routine. Change your lifestyle. It'll help you so much more the better.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that kind of concludes the physical elements as to why you should train
Mhm.
and how to train. And that kind of leads us now with like a really good hyperbolic metaphor as to what it means in life. Like what all of these aspects of fitness, how do they apply to life at large? And there's so much we can say about this, I think.
Mhm. Like the discipline for a start, and the
Yeah.
patience is huge as well, because
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
things like muscle building, if you like fat loss is it's a lot faster than muscle building, right? Like 10 times faster.
Yeah.
But you still have to be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient, put in the work, and that mindset of like what like we were talking about earlier, when the chips are down, what are you gonna do? That
Yep.
stuff, like that is infinitely useful in basically any other field in life.
Yep.
So that's one of the
Definitely.
massive ones that helps you.
Definitely. I've just got to go to the bathroom, bro.
All right, I'll pause the recording.
One sec. Yeah, man.
Yeah, ma.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a brilliant point, man. Like just
Mm.
having that I think the key word when it comes to this, right, when you and for life in general is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is the most important thing that you need to apply just multidiscipline
Mm-hmm.
across everything, right? Diet, so important to stay disciplined and consistent with diet. So important that you stay consistently going because that consistency is what creates the long-term growth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, anyone can go ham for a couple of weeks on a special program or whatever, but if you don't stick at it, if you don't slow burn through these things, everything you gain you're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's you've got to see it as a lifestyle change, and that's kind of the point that I wanted to get to is that like with all of these things that we've said, right? If you're eating better, if you're sleeping better, if you're exercising, right? You have all these benefits of exercise. So you have the energy, you got better looks, you got more strength, like you got more confidence about you. You just carry this with you through life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you touch in your life is touched by this in your life. And you'll find that you'll be able to interact the interactions you have with other people are better, right? You'll have more confidence in yourself. You'll meet more people and like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and it just teaches you so much about life that is just it's so brilliantly valuable.
It's also, we were talking about not haphazardly just like running in and like get into the
Mhm.
gym and be like, what do I do? And go 6 times a week. But I don't know, I haven't planned out. And how much did I lift last week? I can't remember because I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
That, like, if you're talking about like work or business or something like that, when you like
Yeah.
you apply that to fitness and you see like how well it will work, because it will. If you do it, it will. You'll be surprised how well it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
When that's how you'll tackle other problems.
Mhm.
And like, you can't tell me that if you're slow, methodical, patient, and plan out everything,
Mhm.
that's, all right. Something might not work. It might be a chance, but you can't tell me that's not giving yourself the best foundation for one of
Yeah.
your projects to work.
Yeah. It's definitely a good way to go about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and that brings you the core of all of this, though, right? The core of all of it is the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We name this episode "Mind and Body," and
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about the body a lot, and the mind now is what the body depends on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is this mindset, this consistency mindset, this discipline mindset that will make or break your habits,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you don't have the clear mind, if you haven't made your mind up, the body will follow, right? If you're not mentally tough, your body will be weak. It's that simple. If you're not mentally tough, Ed Millerman, hell yes, I'm tough enough. If
Oh,
you're
that's a
not,
deep meme. Jesus, I forgot about that guy. Yeah, I forgot he
hell
even
yes, I'm tough
existed.
enough.
God damn.
The good old days, bro.
Mate, you could do the Liz Truss one. It's like, I'm a fighter, not a quitter, and then just quits the next day.
So, but basically, if you have to cultivate a strong mindset, right, and this mindset will just carry with you into all parts of life.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is this idea of wanting the difficulty,
Yes,
right?
that's huge.
It's it and this I wrote this in a letter to Matthew. I wrote this in a letter to Matthew. I was talking about cold showers and the rock jumps that we're doing, and like once you feel the truth of the virtue of the way, the path, the true path, this path we've been talking about throughout this episode of staying consistent, doing the right thing, training hard, like eating clean, all of these difficult things to do that make you better. Once you have a taste for that path, you realize that you will want the workouts to be harder.
Mm-hmm.
You will want the showers to be colder. You will want the rock jumps to be higher. You
Mm-hmm.
will want more difficulty, and you'll want to just push into more resistance. And that mindset is just such a brilliant thing to have in life.
It is powerful.
Yeah.
Because
And like
when
yeah.
you're looking at something difficult, right? Like, fitness for a lot of people is difficult, yeah. Especially in the
Mhm.
world we live in, with like we were talking about earlier, like everything's trying to grab your attention and everything's
Yeah.
lowering your attention span and all this that we spoke
Yeah.
about earlier.
Yeah.
When you look at something and it's difficult, that's good, because that means if you overcome it, that
Yeah.
separates you from the rest. That's
So
the
much.
thing about, like, you value fitness, right? A lot of people want to look ripped. Like, if you ask someone, would you rather like have this body or this body? And you like got a
Yeah.
fit body or something. And if it was like instant, they would probably always pick the fit one.
Yeah.
But the reason they don't have it is because it's hard. So if you
Yeah.
go through that, that separates you from them.
Yeah.
And that's huge. So the reason that makes it valuable, that's why it's valuable, because it's
Exactly.
hard. That's the only reason it's valuable. Because you
Yeah.
wouldn't value it if you could just literally walk into the kitchen now
Yeah.
and eat like this one magic block and have that body. You wouldn't value it. Nobody would.
Because we'd all have it.
Exactly. So it's like,
Yeah.
that difficulty is why
Yep.
it's good.
Yeah. And that's actually something I wrote about in my book.
Mm.
Basically, the very words I used is the utopian dystopia. Right? Imagine a world where everything is just instant. But like, even we can say we live in an instant today, but like what I mean is like the difficult things. The point you just made, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you could go into the gym once and have a 200 kg deadlift.
Yeah, I know. Like, God, no.
If you could just go into the gym once and get ripped, or take a magic pill that got you 10 out of 10 on all of your grades, that got you a super successful business, that got you a brilliant relationship, that got you a great friendship group, if you could just do all of this, if you could have it instantly without any kind of skill, without anything, none of the trophies you had would mean anything to you. Because we have this higher conscience of understanding exactly what you just said, right? The fact that, let's see, Tom Brady, for example, has won 7 Super Bowls. The reason that's a big deal is because it's actually very difficult to win a Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a massive process, and to do it 7 times is just unprecedented,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc., etc. Imagine if you had 7 Super Bowls, but you didn't actually go through the campaign of winning an NFL season. You didn't go, you didn't do decades of training your entire life. You didn't go to the gym every day. You didn't play the games. You just got the trophy. And but it sounds like yes, yes, I would love to do that. I'd love to give me everything. I
Yo,
want it all.
bro,
I want all the
say that
trophies.
bit again. It cut out.
Yeah, sorry. Where did it cut out?
You talked about Tom Brady, and then you talked about not working for it,
Yeah, okay.
and
So
then
yeah. So imagine if you didn't work for any of the trophies that you got, right? You didn't earn the Lombardi Trophy, which is the NFL trophy, right? You didn't go through the process of starting an NFL season, playing every game, winning all your playoff games, and then winning the Super Bowl. You just received the trophy. It would be utterly meaningless, and
mm,
even if you had this somewhat quote unquote easy, perfect life, you would look at yourself, all of the trophies you have in the house. You would look at it, and maybe for the first week, you'd be like, yeah, the madness is so cool. Maybe for the first month, you'd be like, man, look at all these trophies I have. Maybe for the first year, you'd still feel absolutely elated, but sooner or later, you will come to realize that it doesn't mean anything.
because you
And
didn't earn it.
you would do anything to give them all back and try and do it the real way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of that really depressing thought we sometimes have as to like, why are things difficult? Why can't we just have it? You have to realize what would be way more depressing is if you could just get it instantly,
Mm-hmm.
because
Because
it
where
would
would
mean
you
nothing.
find meaning?
Yeah, exactly. The struggle is what bestows the meaning of the value upon something,
Mm-hmm.
right? The fact that you win the Lombardi Trophy, that you win the NFL season, the Super Bowl. The reason it's difficult is because the reason that it's such a high achievement is because it's difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. And yeah, so not to go any further on that,
Mm-hmm.
beating a dead horse, but it's exactly that with fitness and building strength, building a better body for yourself, building a strong relationship, having good friends, anything. Just it's a dedicated effort,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes it valuable. So there.
Yeah, should we? Do you want me? Do you want us to call it here?
Yeah, I think we wrap it up there, bro. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think we touched on all of it. Just the only last thing I'd like to add is comparisons. Like, always don't constantly like in your fitness journey. If you do
Mhm,
start, which I hope you do, don't
mhm.
obsessively compare yourself to other people, because it's
Yeah,
all about with progressive overloads. It's all about victories over yourself.
yeah,
You have to
it's very
focus on
important.
yourself, and like you've got the cards you've been dealt. You have to
Mhm,
focus on that because the quote by Masashi, which is today is victory over yourself of yesterday, and
mhm,
tomorrow is victory over lesser men.
mhm.
It doesn't have to be men, but like you get the point. I'm sure most people get the point from that. Is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you struggle against yourself and your own vices and your own inadequacies and all these sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
So don't, because Instagram can be a dangerous place for fitness, especially with all the steroid
So
use
toxic,
and the
bro.
fucking
the,
photoshops and all that.
the fucking booty girls, man. Like,
Oh,
god damn.
bro, it's November. Stay strong. But yeah, don't like obsessively compare.
Yeah,
Um, that's the only last piece of advice I'd give, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. But
yeah.
focus on yourself, and the results will come, and you'll see it. Trust me, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's the kind of confidence that you can't fake,
Uh-huh.
right?
And that's what
That's
really matters. Like,
yeah,
if they're
because
posting,
it's real, right? It's real.
yeah, if you're posting pictures on the internet that have like filters on them and stuff like that,
Mhm.
they might get body dysmorphia from their own Instagram pictures because they're
Yeah,
not real. Like they might be like, why am I not like this? You know what I mean? That sort
yeah,
of like peace, like the anxiety you won't feel
yeah,
is worth more than the Instagram picture. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, and it really is that that's a brilliant point, and kind of just to complement that, say like the the way that you will feel knowing for yourself that you've put in the work to become bigger, stronger, better, faster, healthier, knowing that you're doing all of these difficult things, knowing that you're staying consistent, that you're cultivating the strong mind, that you're developing the strong body, knowing that, and not just telling yourself that in the future, do it, knowing it, seeing yourself do it, that is a confidence that you cannot get in any other way.
Now, there's no
And
easy way to that.
and it is the true last it is the true lasting confidence that will
Hmm.
make you make you stronger. And yeah, I think that's a great point to leave it there, bro.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. So if you're still around, as my cousin said a minute ago, massive cock,
Massive, bro.
huge.
You can see it from space at this point.
That- and secondly, please, well, I won't say please actually. Let me take that back. Secondly, if you like this content and you found us here on YouTube, follow us on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
at Path of the Ninth, where I post daily meditations every morning.
Mm-hmm.
So my philosophical reading, and we're going to be posting all sorts of shorts to the YouTube channel, to TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and Reels on Instagram. Uh, all of our content you can find us on our media channels. If you enjoy this, check us out.
Leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Ye-
Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.